Van Gogh died with almost no money. Picasso died a billionaire. Two geniuses. Two artistic revolutions. Two completely opposite destinies. But the real question is another one. If Picasso were alive today, would he invest in cryptocurrencies? Would Bitcoin fascinate him? Would digital currencies look like a new revolution or just another illusion created by the market? To answer, we need to understand who Pablo Picasso really was. His story is not only the story of a painter. The story is that of the first modern artist who managed to turn his talent into an immense fortune. And here we are again at the initial question. Would Picasso have bought Bitcoin? No one can truly know. To understand what he might have thought, we need to remember something essential. Picasso was not only an artist. He was a revolutionary. A man who refused to accept reality as it was. He dismantled it, rebuilt it, transformed it. Every time the world looked stable, he found a crack and stepped inside. Every time art seemed to have found a final shape, he destroyed it and invented another one. Picasso lived for disruption, for shock, for ideas that no one else dared to touch. When everyone painted by following the rules, he broke them. When everyone searched for beauty, he searched for truth. When everyone saw a face, he saw a system of planes, perspectives, possibilities. He never followed the crowd. He anticipated it, provoked it, forced it to change. So what would he have thought about digital currencies? Probably he would not have stopped at the surface. Price, speculation, market noise would not have interested him. Picasso was not a gambler. He was a fierce observer. He would have looked at Bitcoin the way he looked at an object to dismantle, not to possess it but to understand its structure. He would have studied the logic of decentralization, the challenge to institutions, the rebellion against traditional systems. He would have seen that behind a digital coin there is not only technology but an idea, the possibility of changing the very concept of value. Picasso recognized revolutions immediately. He sensed them. He anticipated them. He turned them into language. Maybe he would not have bought Bitcoin to get rich. He would have wanted to understand whether it represented a new form of freedom, a new perspective, a new frame through which to look at the world. Picasso did not chase money. He chased change. And if he had perceived in digital currencies a crack in the system, a breaking point, a new way of thinking, he would have approached them. Not as an investor, as a revolutionary. Picasso teaches that genius, when it meets the right moment and an extraordinary ability to reinvent itself, can change not only the history of art but also the history of money. Picasso had a completely different relationship with money compared to many artists of his time. From a young age he understood something fundamental. Art was not only inspiration. Art was also value. Many artists painted hoping someone would buy their works. Picasso built his myth while he was still alive. He signed anything. He kept countless works. He controlled the market. He increased rarity. He understood what today we would call personal brand value. In a way, he was an entrepreneur of his own art. Before becoming the most famous painter of the 20th century, Picasso was a prodigy. His father was a drawing teacher. At 10 years old, he already had impressive technique. At 14, he painted better than many adult artists. If he had wanted, he could have become one of the greatest academic painters in history. And that is exactly the point. Picasso did not revolutionize art because he could not paint. He revolutionized it because he could afford to. First he learned all the rules. Then he decided to break them. Picasso was born on October 25th. For astrology lovers, he belonged to Scorpio, a sign often associated with transformation. His success did not depend on the horoscope, of course. Yet his personality seems to reflect some traits linked to that sign. He did not accept limits. He constantly destroyed what he had created. He changed style. He reinvented himself. Blue period, rose period, Cubism, sculpture, ceramics, engraving. He never stayed still. Every time the public got used to Picasso, he had already become someone else. When Cubism arrived, many thought he had lost his mind. In reality, he was doing something revolutionary. He no longer wanted to represent reality. He wanted to represent the way the mind observes reality. A revolution similar to the one Einstein was bringing to physics. He changed the way the world was seen. Picasso witnessed success with his own eyes. Collectors lined up. Museums bought his works. Galleries fought for every new painting. When he died, he left thousands of works. Today, some are worth more than $100 million. His artistic legacy is one of the most important ever created. Picasso proved that an artist could be both an innovator and extremely wealthy, something that once seemed almost impossible. And here we are again at the initial question. Would Picasso have bought Bitcoin? No one can know. One thing is certain. He was fascinated by revolutions, by ideas that broke the rules, by changes that rewrote the game. He would have studied digital currencies very carefully, not to speculate, to understand whether they represented a true cultural revolution. Picasso never followed the crowd. He preferred to anticipate it. This may be the most important lesson he leaves us. Do not limit yourself to observing change. Have the courage to imagine change before everyone else. Picasso teaches that genius, when it meets the right moment and an extraordinary ability to reinvent itself, can change not only the history of art but also the history of money. If you love these topics, leave a comment and tell me which country you are watching from.